We have already compared several different forms of these equations or functions. In the first example, we compared the words of a word problem and a graph. In the second problem, we compared an equation with a table. And now we're going to compare an equation with a graph. The same basic principles are still the same. We are trying to find the slope and the y-intercept in each case. So the equation we're provided with is y equals 0.15x plus 49. And this represents the monthly cell phone bill that Angela receives. So if we break that down, we know that the 0.15 is a rate, and that would be how much she is charged per minute. And then we know 49 is always a one-time fee or an initial value, so she's being charged $49 fee along with the 15 cents per minute. Now we want to compare that to Benjamin's bill, and Benjamin's bill is represented in the table below. So how can we find the rate of change in the table below? Well, I'm going to do rise or run, or the change in y over the change in x. In this case, I'm just going to set up a quick table. I've got the point 060, and I've got the point 120.72. Okay, so these are y values, these are x values. So my change in y from 60 to 72 is 12. My change in x from 0 to 120 is 120. And if I take 12 and divide by 120, I end up with 0.10. All right, so my rate in the graph is 10 cents per minute as opposed to the 15 cents per minute in the equation. And I also now need to find what my fee would be. And I find that initial value by finding the y-intercept, which in a graph is very easy to find. I simply locate where my line crosses the y-axis, and it happens to be at 60. So for this equation, for the graph, my y-intercept is 60. So I can now take the information from the graph and turn that into a function, so to speak, which would be y equals 0.10x plus 60. So we have compared the two cell phone bills. Angela's has a higher fee per minute, or higher rate, and then Benjamin's has the higher one-time fee. But then the problem asks you, what would it be like if they each use 200 minutes on their phone? So all we have to do is a quick substitution. For the first equation, I'm going to substitute 200. So I have y equals 0.15 times 200 plus 49. Okay? And if I take 200 and multiply it by 0.5, I get 30. So I know y equals 30 plus 49. So after 200 minutes, the cost for Angela would be $79. Well, what about the cost for Benjamin? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to substitute 200 in for x in his equation. Y equals 0.10 times 200 plus 60. And if I multiply 200 times 0.01, I get 20. So y equals 20 plus 60, and that means that y equals 80. So Benjamin's bill for 200 minutes would be $80. So the two cell phone bills are very comparable for around 200 minutes. All right, I want you to try this example, the guided example, on the next page, page 313. Try that one for yourself.